Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Grumpy Old Spurs. This week we've moved to a Tuesday because obviously there's a massive game coming up on Thursday. With me, as always, my fellow bringer of doom and gloom, all the way from Australia. Dave, how are you, mate?
I'm very well indeed. And as always, just to give you a little glimpse behind the curtain and the mystery of the show, I'm saddened to report that in the green room before the show, we all showed each other the sizes of our microphones.
Dave.
So, as my dodgy uncle Rolf once said, it's not the size of the microphone; it's what you do with the microphone, mate. Good evening.
Yeah. And last week was one of our best week for numbers. So we were wanting to build on that, and we're hoping to build on that. So we've had a word with Connor. So we've got Connor back in the house. Connor, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's been a little while. It's good to be back on. It's not that I've deserted you because of the new podcast. It's just 7:30 is difficult, which is obviously Dave's fault out in Australia, right? But anyway,
you're right. You haven't deserted us. Connor's always, we're in the group chat, always sort of taking the piss out of Spurs. But what we did want to ask you, Connor, is obviously you've set up this new channel, your new show. Me and Dave both know how hard it is to get figures early doors when you're starting these things off. So, everybody subscribe and like Connor and Billy's channel. What sort of numbers are you getting in these tough early stages of proceedings, Connor?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right, which is a bit of a surprise given that if you want to hear Billy T's opinion on anything, you can catch him on about 45 other podcasts each day. But yeah, we're doing all right. We're sort of early thousands on most of the shows we've done so far, but it's mostly Billy's pull, I think, rather than mine.
Oh,
1,000.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there, Dave, one day.
One day, one day, Matthew. One day.
One day, David, we will get there. But enough of this. Enough of these pre-arranged little jokes and sketches, Dave, that we've up in the green room before. Let's get right into the thick of it. Let's talk about the real fun stuff, the football. Dave, you're in charge of the slides. Fulham away, Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was that? Let's have the lineup, Dave.
Let's have the lineup.
So, from my point of view, I'm looking at that lineup. I don't even know if that was the lineup we started with, finished with, or whatever. That's just 11 names. I don't even know. Connor, I'll come to you first. Like, when they sort of announce a team, you're looking at it, trying to work it out. And then when you actually saw how we were playing, it was a little bit baffling, wasn't it?
Yeah, massively. And look, I mean, obviously we've got a number of players missing, which makes it difficult. But this is just a shambles, isn't it? This is almost a throw some darts at a dartboard on what position players are going to end up in, and see where they end up. I mean, I thought when I saw the lineup first of all that we'd be definitely just playing a three at the back, but we were lining up in this 4-4-2 for quite a lot of the game, as well as Gray is quite naturally not a left back. You got Gallagher trying to play right wing. I mean, he was piss poor.
Not playing well either, and playing out of position.
No. It's just a shambles, and I think this is just systemic of where we are right now, isn't it? That we bring in a manager who is a specialist in playing three at the back. He's already sort of reverted to the 4-4-2-ish that you're seeing here. We don't have the players to play three at the back. The only naturally left-footed player we've got in the squad is a kid from Brazil who quite clearly isn't ready to play. But to be honest, I would play him right now because to me, the most important thing is trying to find some level of balance, right? So the squad is just so lopsided and players playing out of position. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, Connor hit it on the head with 4-4-2-ish. Because also you got Solanke as one of a front, but he wasn't. He definitely wasn't playing up front, was he? So I mean, what are your thoughts? Because I mean, you've put that lineup on. As I said, that is just 11 blokes there. Well, it is, isn't it? Like the formation was It wasn't. I don't know what it was.
It was 11 blokes. We're not talking about
11
Olympic.
blokes.
We're not talking about Olympic boxing or anything like that.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's great to see that Solanke took our advice from last week's show about clearing up his sore throat. So I was pleased to see that his sore throat had cleared up, so he could play a game of association football. So I think that was the first thing. I just want to say that we're being trolled by Connor's dad. Look at that, 12,000. That's a bit rude, isn't it? Anyway, so we'll get on to whether our interim manager is going to last the interim shortly. But, how interim is the interim manager? We'll get on to that. But Sousa, who came on against United, and he came on Sunday. I mean, I know that I've slagged off another potential side. He's looked all right, actually.
He's looked competent, which is you can't say that about a lot of the players, can you?
No, he hasn't been there long enough to either A, get injured, or B, be blemished. The thing about Sousa is quite weird. He actually plays on the left-hand side and he's left-footed. Now, again, I don't have my FIFA badges, and I've only ever pid once on Oso Spurs, so I'm not that clever. But if you've got a left foot and you play on the left-hand side of the pitch, I think that's quite a good thing. Just saying. And Conor Gallagher, look. No one thought it was our data or data-driven approach that we came up with the name Conor Gallagher. It's simply the fact that Villa put a bid in and we gazumped them, right? But, and he's probably had 2 half-decent halves since he's joined. But, you got to play a player in his proper position, which is a number 8, right?
Yeah.
And then play 2. I mean, he was trying to play Solanke in the deep-lying Sheringham role. He looked more like Charlie Sheringham. And then Moani up top was getting bullied. So, if I go back to that team again, I think I asked the question last week. I just want to ask you, Connor, right? Of that team and the squad, which player do you actually like as a person / or a player? Me and Gibbo were talking about last week, and obviously this isn't the full squad. Is there anyone that you go at the moment, they're my favourite player and I like them?
Not really. I wouldn't lose any sleep if any of them went. I think, a lot of people like Van der Ven, but I don't think he's showering himself in glory at the moment with both his attitude, but also, to be honest, I think these players are overrated, aren't they? I think by all, and we've all been guilty of it at times, but Van der Ven is another one, right, where you go, like, you've played basically every game this season, and we're sitting, where are we, 16th in the league, conceding goals left, right, and centre. Yeah, I mean, there's issues. There's bigger issues than the players, as we all know. Yeah. I don't think we're preaching to the converted on this show, and probably with most of the viewers. With the bigger issue being who owns the club for sure, and disaster after disaster in terms of managerial change and all of this type of stuff. But the players are just a joke as well, aren't they? It's just every single facet of this club is a joke.
It is, isn't it? I mean, like, you go through that. I don't think Archie Gray is any great shakes, but I think he's giving as much as he can, doing what he can, and like we're taught. I know, like, we don't know him personally, but I've got nothing against him. Whether we go up, stay up, or go,
he's a kid who's played too many games already for us. I mean, I think I read he's played 73 games already for Tottenham. I mean,
and never in the
he
same
should have
position,
played 25 by this stage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I think, like, I look at it and I sort of think, if whatever happens now, it will probably be, this is, like, I know we were shit at the end of last season, but it's the lowest ebb, isn't it? You think to yourself, if we go down, certainly, if we just avoid it, and you're at that point, aren't you, where you look at it and go, I don't care if any of these fuck off. They can all go. Like, we spoke about rebuilds for years, but this is probably the best opportunity. And you think to yourself, just if any of them are moaning and say they want out, just let them go. Just get the money you can for them and let them go. I'd rather have, like, people sort of like moaning a little bit. We're talking about that guy from Bournemouth on a free, what is it, Sensei or something like that. He's an Argentinian, isn't he? And I think, would I rather have someone like that? Would I rather have someone like that over the guys we got at the minute? Probably.
I like Bergvall.
Yeah,
I like Bergvall.
He's another
Bergvall.
kid, isn't he?
But I like him. I'd be sorry if he left. I like Gray.
I just think you two guys were probably going off topic a little bit earlier because we were going to talk about the game, but I just want some people who actually want to play for us, who aren't used to losing, and who aren't going to keep bumping their gums when they're losing, and the crowd are getting a little bit restless with them, as if they're entitled to be treated better after losing the amount of games they've lost and performing the way they have. It's just like get over yourselves and sort of get on with it. But we'll come back to the players and that. We started off quite well.
Let's talk about the first.
Didn't we?
Should we go to the first goal?
Yeah, well, I was going to say we did quite well for about 2-3 minutes, didn't we? And then Fulham got on top of us after a couple of minutes. Yeah. And then the first goal.
So can I just take on? Can I just take over this point? I want you guys. There's been a lot of debate about whether is it a shove? Someone falls over. I just want to see. Would you award this one a penalty? Okay, falls over near the bar. There's no hands anywhere. Is that, in your opinion, is that a penalty?
No penalty.
No pen.
No, but in this day and age, it's a pen.
You got a chance. It'll get looked at. So cross comes in. Kenny Tete. No pressure on the ball. Dragusin, our 6 foot plus commanding centre back, who's meant to do that's his strength, winning balls in the air, gets caught under the ball, shove in the back. Yeah. Oscar Bob, all 4 foot of him, heads it back across. Harry Wilson, a player who's coming to the end of his contract and probably was available in January, that may have added to our squad, but was one of our first choices to look at, so we didn't buy him. Slams in the goal. Now, first of all, shocking defending. Connor, second, should the goal stand or not?
It's a point about consistency, really, isn't it? Like, I don't think there's a lot in any of these. The Gabriel one was pathetic, wasn't it, as well? This one, again, you could argue. Ironically, the one that was given, that wasn't given against Romero, I think was the worst of the 3. I think that was a blatant push, personally. And ironically, Gary Neville obviously got on his soapbox about, Romero's got to be stronger. And that one was definitely a blatant push, in my view. But yeah, I mean, look, it is a point about consistency. For me, a lot of Spurs fans are complaining about this, but again, it does come. I can't even have the energy really to complain about an individual refereeing decision like this when we're as bad as we are. Because if we're all honest, Fulham battered us for that first half. And again, it's another team we've gone away to, playing against where we're just getting battered. And then I get that decisions change games, and it depends on the game state and all of this type of stuff. But in the grand scheme of things, that one decision was the least of our worries, I think.
Yeah, Dave, consistency. That's the thing we all ask for, and that's what we're not getting. The pushes, like Connor said, I totally agree with him. I sort of think we're looking at it and going, we're getting no look. You'll tell me if it's a little bit harsh on me. Yeah, we want the consistency, and we just want them to do, them to make these decisions how they should be made, and then do it week in, week out. You've got to start sort of make your own look a little bit at some point, haven't you? Not get yourself in that position for that to happen. I mean, if VAR wasn't around, obviously it is, that goal gets given. Nobody really fucking moans about it. But that is just, with Spurs at the minute, that is just where we find ourselves, isn't it? But what's your take on the whole thing? I'm sure you phoned up TalkSport about it on the Monday. To debate with Martin Keown and Simon Jordan, but I missed that. So could you tell us now?
I have been so tempted to ring TalkSport in the last 2 weeks because Simon Jordan's been giving it the Well, now you'll see what happens when Daniel Levy leaves. And it's been the
fucking hell.
Lewis family all along, blah, blah, blah. What a load of nonsense. So I have not succumbed to the temptation. I mean, to
This
Connor's
is an
point
exclusive then.
yeah, to Connor's point about, well, we could have lost 4-1, 5-1, and, it was hardly against run of play. That's true. But as far as I'm concerned, if we're staying up and we get 3 wins and we are playing shit, and we get a streaky goal in the last minute of each of those 3 games, I don't care, right? That's the sum of it, right? So I thought that it's about as I used to say about someone about someone, is their consistency is their inconsistency. And basically, you had the Romero, you had the shove in the back, Rouhani, and you had this week as well. It's easy to say there is no consistency. Right, it's either one or the other. So the Romero was a blatant shove in his back. The other 2 was kind of lighter touches, but still hand on back, right, which you're not meant to do. And the fact that the last time that we've got this now, and apparently the club are writing to the PGMO or whatever, that's going to make a big difference in it. So I thought it was a Dragusin should have done better, but basically it shouldn't have been given based on the last 2. That's where I am on it. All right. Now, can we just take some medicine at the moment, me and Connor? So at the start of the season, you, Gibbo, said that Xavi Simon was overhyped, and we guffawed and laughed at you and said you were wrong. Connor, how are you feeling about Xavi Simon these days?
Well, he's been poor, but again, the one caveat I would apply is that he's being played slightly out of position, and he needs to be picked in the 10. And then I do also think, to be honest, I think he's the type of player you slot. Let's say we had that Poch 11, and you threw him into the Poch 11 because Eriksen was out injured or whatever. I think you'd be seeing a very different player to what you're. And I'm not saying he's as good as Eriksen, but you get my point that in the functioning football team, I think you'd be seeing a different player. But yeah, I mean, he's been pretty dreadful the last 2 games in particular, right? And although again against Arsenal, he took a lot of pelters against Arsenal, but I would say, every time he got the ball, or who did he? There was no options left or right. Moani doesn't really make a move. So yeah, I still think there's bigger problems than Xavi Simons, to be honest. But he's not. If Maddison was in that team right now, Maddison would be contributing more. I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. You've got to play. He's got to play centrally, like sort of behind a forward. Definitely. But like you just said, and then I'll come to Dave and he can give me his opinion on it. I was always looking at a signing when we were looking at Gibbs White, Eze. I had my say on Eze last week. I know he's not done well for Arsenal, but he'd walk into our team and contribute more, I believe. But he would probably be a good rotation option for Maddison or Kulusevski. That's my opinion. I think that is like another pod I was listening to, and they were basically saying, did I say on this? Was it on here last week, Dave, where I said to you that they sort of said he's like a bit like a Cranchar who come in now and then, but he was never going to be the starter week in, week out. And that's how I see him now. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's that level. But Connor is right. There is mitigation for him. I mean, the team's bad, isn't it? And when you do look up, there's no, those players want to be getting the ball, turning. Eriksen used to put it in between fullbacks and centre halves, and you'd have wingers or wide people running onto them. We don't have any of that. But yeah, like I said, I'll take no pleasure in being right. But yeah, massively overhyped.
No one believes you.
What's your thoughts on him then?
Me? Well, first of all, we had a row last week about Nico Cranchar because I like Nico Cranchar.
So did I.
It didn't sound like it.
No, frankly. I just said that he was Connor. Just to let you know, you're obviously you were about the old Nico Cranchar years, weren't you? You were a
Yeah, I was
young
about, mate. Yeah, I was about then. Yeah.
And
Did
I
you
said,
like?
what,
Did you like him?
when Cranchar had an extended run in the team, if he played like 10 or 11 games in a row, his performance levels dropped. But what he was brilliant at was he'd have a couple of sub appearances and he'd come on and be brilliant. He'd score a goal for you when it was 1-1 or whatever. And then he'd come in for a couple of games and he'd have 2 good games. And then you could sort of take him out of the team. But when he had an extended period in the team, I never felt you got the best out of him. And I just think that Xavi Simons, I sort of agreed with what I heard on another pod, that he might be like that. He might be that type of player at the minute for us. But obviously we haven't got that luxury of having other bodies that can sort of take his place. But yeah, that's the conversation we had last week.
Yeah,
That's
I
nice.
thought Crankill was decent. For me, he sort of sums up that like period just between being quite shit to then breaking into Europe. He's like that sort of, which is better than where we are right now, clearly. But he's sort of a mid-table-y type player. But as you say, a bit inconsistent.
Great squad
Nowhere
player.
near as good as Van der Vaart and Eriksson, who
Yes.
came after. But yeah, no, he was decent. He was one of Harry Redknapp's boys, weren't he?
Yeah.
I think with Xavi, the thing about Xavi Simons is that what has frustrated me about him in the Guna game, I think he lost. I mean, I saw that he'd lost the ball 7 times in possession, or the most player to lose possession in a game called Xavi since Xavi, or whatever.
Some more shit stats.
The other Xavi never lost the ball. To be fair, did he?
No, never. No, never. And I just want to say that King Hoddle, your comments are always welcome on this channel. Sorry, it's just staring at. Yeah, no, they are. They are always welcome. So basically, you look at Morgan Gibbs-White, Eze, oven ready, Premier League players. We I don't know. Do you remember last August we had a week where we thought we'd bought Kudos and we were buying Morgan Gibbs-White?
Yeah.
And
collection
between the 3 of us, we had the transfer smorgasbord out. We were happy, and look at us now. We're not happy. So I like Xavi, but if you're saying that Xavi is going to be like a Nico Cranchar at 60 million quid, we'll just use him sporadically. Man, we got big problems. But
that's what having a good squad is about, really, Dave. You always moan about the
I always
30 million pound player.
20 to 30. I always moan about the 20 million player. Yeah, I do.
Top squads have guys. I mean, Kuna doesn't get in every week for Man United, does he? He's not like, well, he might be. I've not really looked at it, but to start off with, he wasn't getting in all the time. But those, some of these players, 50, 60 million now is probably that that doesn't mean you're a guaranteed first team regular, that being commanding that sort of fee now. But yeah, I mean, here's the question then. To finish off this thing on Simons, yeah, he wasn't great. Nobody was great on Sunday. Xavi Simons or Morgan Gibbs-White? Gibbs-White all day long for me.
Yeah, Dave? Obviously. Yeah. I mean, come on, obviously.
Connor?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would say, like, Eze, other than when he plays Tottenham, has had a really, really poor season for Arsenal. If you speak to any Arsenal fan about Eze,
he hasn't.
Been massively underwhelmed, other than when Dr. Tottenham played. And to be honest, there is I think everyone's view should not be based on when players play against Tottenham, because
they all look good. They look great.
Yeah. But we made Gyökeres look like a world-beating striker, and I've watched him basically in every other game for Arsenal, and he's been diabolical. I mean, Eze has been poor, and even Gibbs-White. I don't think Gibbs-White has had a great season at Forest. I mean, Forest are below us, right? So, I don't think he's set the world alight either.
No,
I get your point. Both are Prem proven Simons, but I don't know. I personally think there's bigger. I think there's bigger issues.
There's
Simons.
massive
That's
issues.
Not just me caveating that, just because I rated him and I rated the signing at the start of the season, because I'm very happy
irrelevant,
when I was wrong.
There's issues, And it's not just the quality of players, it's mentality, it's mindset. There's so much going on, isn't it? That
Ironically, I mean, you asked the question about whether it's Simmons versus Gibbs White or Eze, but to bring it to one of our own, Maddison.
yeah,
I think I get Maddison has his injury issues, as is the case right now, but I think this is maybe opened some fans' eyes to how good Maddison actually is in terms of like the general build up and everything. To me, I think Maddison's a very good player.
Eze would have played on the left for us, though, wouldn't he? I think Eze, if Eze was
maybe.
honest, he'll go to Arsenal, his boyhood club.
Yes.
Very, very good chance of being a squad player who's literally shit all over Spurs, and he'll get a championship winning medal. But if he'd have come to Spurs, he would have played on the left wing. He would have played more, and he would have probably had a better season personally for him. And hopefully, we'd have had a better season. It's irrelevant now, but yeah, Connor, we bring up these players, but yeah, there's a lot more going on. King Hoddle's brought up about Conor Gallagher. I think Conor Gallagher's a good player, but he has been fucking awful for us, hasn't he?
He has
been terrible.
Whenever I've seen Gallagher play for Chelsea, what I saw of him playing for Palace, a few times for England, I never really watched him for Atletico Madrid, but I thought at least he'll come in, I mean, nobody in our team gets to challenges quick anyway. We don't win any first balls, we don't win any second balls, but he has been poor, hasn't he? So, that just tells you what
I'm conscious of time to keep things moving. So let's just finish off Fulham with a couple of things. One, so of the goal, the side footer, should Vicario have saved it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good hit, but he's hit that side foot from the edge of the area. I don't think it had a lot of curl on it. I think it went pretty straight. So,
he's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
I mean, the distribute. I mean, even just putting the goal to the side a second, the distribution on the ball is absolutely pathetic. It's the worst. It's the worst I've ever seen of any goalkeeper.
Worse than Casey Keller.
I think
Casey Keller couldn't kick a ball.
He shouldn't get a job as a cannonball firer at a circus because it's going to end in disaster. I think they got the Thames at the back.
Well, no, he's already got the job as the clown at the circus, isn't he?
And the other thing as well, Vicario's parents, they're not that much on socials this year. I wonder why. Vicario's parents have kind of disowned him.
But what do you think, Dave? Should he have got it?
Yeah, I do. Well, when I ask a question like that, there's a motive. So the answer is yes. He should have got it.
You think he should have got it, Connor? I know you went on to his distribution, but what are you thinking to that one?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think he should have,
And I know it's like we shouldn't laugh at. Well, we should. When the Premier League start putting out memes of him or whatever, fucking that free kick. I'm sat there with my lad watching that, and I can guarantee you boys would have done the same. He kicks that out, and you just sat there and you're like, "Fuck me." Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
what may be the image of the season is that the North London derby last week is when, and we talked about this last week, Connor, when Dragusin takes the goal kick for Vicario. It's like you're back playing under 12s football at Hackney Marshes, and you've got the big kid taking the goal kicks. That's what it is. Because he can kick it better.
But before, which got completely missed. I mean, they put the free kick everywhere because it's so ridiculous. But there was one in the first half, wasn't it, where he tried to ping one out to Porro?
Yeah.
And it literally hit the guy in the middle of the stand, didn't it?
It landed on Hugh Grant's head.
I mean, like, King, I mean, that is generous. That is generous, isn't it?
Well, we might have to do as a show of the Goalkeeping Hall of Fame.
He's got to be the first to go. He's got to be one of the first that goes in the summer. I mean, do you not think now, if I'm thinking, like, we will move on. Let's just talk about this. I'm thinking, if I'm there now, is he going to be there next year? This bloke can't kick a ball. He's not helping us build out from the back at all. he's not adding anything really because he's not saving a lot either, is he? I know he made a decent save, but he's not, like he was brilliant against Monaco. But do you think you just go, let's give Kinski a game? It can't be no worse.
Well, we don't.
They won't because he's part of the leadership group, isn't he?
Yeah, but we don't have wriggle room to put in a keeper, a young keeper, do we? It's not the time for experimentation, is it?
Mate, he's played it. What worse can he do?
We saw him against Newcastle.
If people are going to shoot and score against us, which is pretty much what's happening, why not have at least let the guy be able to pass the ball or kick the ball? Or do you know what I'm saying? Just at least give us something. With Vicario, we're getting nothing.
Okay, we're going to talk about Palace in a bit. So you're saying stick Kinski in goal. I just want to make a mention to Vim. He's got Morph on there. I know I like Morph. It's got nothing to do with anything, but I do like Morph. There we go. Right. Before we finish off, the subs came on.
Yeah.
Richarlison, Sousa, Tell, Sarr, who, if someone could still tell me what Sarr does in a team, I'd love to know answers on the postcard. Not a fucking clue. Sousa, left-footed left back, did all right. Tell showed attacking intent. I mean, these are like crumbs. These are crumbs. These are proper fucking crumbs. And I hate to say it, but one of Rich's strengths is he's good in the air, and he put that away well. And as someone has pointed out, we need players who are battle weary from a relegation fight. And Richarlison kept Everton up. We are doing a revisionist 1 minute of talking up Richarlison. What did you think of the subs that came on, and should they start against Palace, Connor?
I was going to make that same point that you just made on Richarlison. I think we're all of the opinion he's not good enough, for sure. But in these times, you're spot on. Him along with Pickford kept Everton up, and he will battle, and he will nick a goal. And so, I think he's the type of player you want at the moment in the way that we're playing. We're offering absolutely nothing in terms of on the ball anyway. At least he'll be a bit of a nuisance and may nick a goal, right? And I think with Tell's a bit. Look, I think people are going one of two ways on Tell. You get some on social media who are acting as if we've dropped Lionel Messi and stuck him on the bench, and that it's outrageous that he's not playing.
More like Lionel Blair. Yeah, go on.
Or it seems it's that he's terrible, and that's the reason. For me, though, with Tell, the slightly worrying thing is there's now 3 managers in a row that are not picking him, so there must be something behind that. But what I'm watching when he comes on, he does at least show a bit of attacking intent, and he does, he's got something about him, right? Again, so if you're coming back to sort of mentality and going to put up a bit of a fight in a relegation battle, give you a bit of balance, i.e. can actually play in a position on the left, means you can move Simmons into the middle, play a proper formation with proper balance with players in their actual positions. Mm-hmm. I would pick both of them against Palace. Sarr, I agree with you. I don't know what Sarr gives you. You might as well. He runs about a lot. We'll stick Mo Farah in midfield. Then what's the point?
I like Tao. I quite like him coming on his sub. Because we've never really seen enough over a full 90 minutes of him. When he's never gone. Tao was brilliant today for 90 minutes, have we? In all the time he's been there. And he comes on as the sub and he does that. If he starts, he comes on his sub, but use him. Use him at some part of the game. Try and get him running at people, getting shots away, or doing whatever he did the other day, stretching teams. Great. And I think you're right. It has literally come to this point where just Richarlison probably the most likely to score a goal out of any of our forwards. I know Solanke got 2 the other day, but Richarlison's probably our most natural goal scoring. The rest of his game's pretty shit, but I think that's just where we are, isn't it?
Yeah.
Start him with Solanke or on his own up top. I think he's better off with Solanke. He needs somebody with him, doesn't he? Because his touch, he couldn't drop a bag of cement, could he? most of the time.
Solanke or
No,
Moraine?
Richarlison.
Richarlison. Yeah,
I'd just have Richarlison, and if he's going to play two up top, I'd play Solanke up there with him as close as possible.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. And before we do, I noticed, Connor, that after Leon stole the television off your wall, you got a nice new picture there, so that's good to see. We got a. It's a new graphic. I'm doing new graphics for the league table every week, and this is the new one. What do you reckon, Gibbo?
Yeah, nice. I said this. We should have had the status quo down, down, deeper, and down music while you got this slide up. But I mean, we haven't moved in the table, have we?
Yeah, since I've been out for a few weeks, you're getting better and better at this stuff as well, aren't you? Look at this production value.
He's upped his game, Connor.
Well, I knew you. I heard you were coming back. I thought, right, I got to make a fucking effort this week. But there's no Louis Armstrong, the trumpeter, here this week. He's somewhere else. No Louis Armstrong blaring away as he gets ready for school. Oh, I like that. That's cool. Look at this. It's the arrow of doom. Oh, I like that.
While we've got this, because Connor's not been on for a few weeks, I think we've both said what we think. The R word then, Connor, are you looking at the minute going, yeah, it's a real possibility, or are you thinking we're going down? Where are you?
I think we're banging trouble. I think the only slight saving grace is that West Ham's fixtures are pretty difficult, and although they are playing much better than us, they still only have 1 win in 5, I think. So they're playing much better than us, but performance-wise, but they're still not closing that gap particularly. And I mean, it is effectively 5 points because of goal difference. I mean, the ironic thing is, if we had just beaten them at home, the relegation battle is over, right? Because of the 6-point swing of that, But yeah, we are banging trouble because we can't get a win. Simple as that, isn't it? I mean, what are we? 2 wins in 19 or something, is it?
19 games, half of a season, 12 points.
It's absolutely pathetic.
That is the record. They're the facts.
To state the bleeding obvious, which I'm very good at, everyone goes, well, West Ham have got a tougher run in and Forest have got a tougher run in. We're not actually capable of winning a game of football at the moment. And every time we play someone who's in a bit of trouble, we lose. So we've got to win a game. We have to start winning games. If we don't, we are going to fucking be relegated. And the other thing is, and I said this last week, and it's not changed this week, I can't think of one player who's in any semblance of form at the moment. Can you think of one player who's actually, again, I go back to 97, 98. Ginola kept us up. Second half of the season, he was fantastic. Judas was at the back. There was 2 or 3 players who kept us up, right? Now, I can't think of anyone. Is Romero back tomorrow?
No, he's out for Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool thinking we've got to go to Anfield. I mean, I always call it our annual spanking up at Anfield, which is pretty much what it is.
They're not that good.
No, they're not. But we'll lose.
They're not. But nor are we.
What's that got to do with anything?
I mean, we should clip that up. They're not that good. And just saying, sorry.
I mean,
sorry about that.
Dave, let's move on to another a point you wanted to bring up.
Yes,
Scott Munn piped up in the week, didn't he?
Okay, we need to do the intros better. Last week we did the Eagles thing. You picked the wrong Eagles song. You've said Scott Munn. I was going to say, let's go and do this again. It's our regular feature. It's the it's another ex-Australian employee mouths off feature. That's the feature, Gibbo. Do you want to hear about it?
Yes, please. Hit us with it.
With fucking hell, how long have we been doing this now, Gibbo? Come on. The joke about Connor's show was great. We rehearsed that. It went well. This was less good. And the Eagles last week as well. Right. So this week's ex-Australian employee mouthing off tells us that it's been 17 managers in 20 years. It's about actions along with the results. I remember a CFG board meeting and Manchester City, had finished second in the Premier League in the year before. The chairman whatever his name is, started the meeting by saying that wasn't acceptable. This was installed in everything we did in the club. I didn't have that same feeling at Spurs. Weren't you responsible for it? At that level, the margin for error is so small that culture and mentality can be the difference between 3 points on a Saturday. Two most significant games: Chelsea, the high line 9, we're doing the right thing, and the second one was the City game. Was the sentiment from the fans they'd prefer to lose the games to be sure Arsenal didn't win the league. And so there we go. The man who apparently very good at working at Aussie rules. He also said that they made changes to the medical department. Not everything he recommended was accepted, and therefore he can't take on that. He takes on that responsibility. Connor, how would you sum up in one sentence or less Scott Munn's time at Tottenham Hotspurs Football Club?
Another disaster, wasn't it? I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, it's hard to judge anyone who has to work under these owners, right? And it cannot be a coincidence. Look, there's some mitigation in the fact that scorned ex, right, is always going to speak badly, but no other football club, to my knowledge, has so many scorned exes that come out and slag off the club so openly after they go. I can't, you don't see ex-director at Liverpool comes out and slags off Liverpool's culture and mentality and the way the owners operate. I mean, you can go through so many at Tottenham under ENIC that it just cements what we all think of ENIC whenever any of these individuals speak. The only thing I would say with him specifically, though, with Munn, that I think that point about the Arsenal thing and the whole fan rivalry, they just never got it, did they? That whole thing was just for for us. And he said, we didn't expect the team to feel the way that fans did either. So his whole point is irrelevant, right? Obviously, an Australian who's not got the link to the club in the way that we've got is not going to get that in the same way.
Those Australians.
Yes, yeah, those bloody Australians. So yeah, I think it's just another one. He won't be the last, will he? We'll have Thomas Frank's quotes soon, probably at some point. We'll then have Tudor's quotes. We'll then have the next interim that comes in after Tudor for the rest of the season. And it will just go on and on and on. But it's not it's not a surprise. I mean, I do think Munn was pretty invisible to us as fans, though, wasn't he? Whilst he was there, so
it's all just self-preservation, isn't it? Because, and I suppose media.
You're a big fan of Scott Munn when we appointed him, Gibbo, weren't you? You had plenty. You were full of praise. No, you weren't. What do you?
It's just like it's just self-preservation, and I think in the media and stuff like that, it's something for them to latch onto because it's like Connor said, it's a reoccurring theme with Spurs. It's an easy stick to beat Spurs with, isn't it? And you're right, Connor. But the Liverpool, you don't get it with Liverpool and people like that, because I've heard Jamie Carragher talking on the telly, and he's like, Liverpool aren't a team who are known for sacking their managers. And I'm like, that's because you're usually good. When your managers have been shit and you haven't been doing well, you sacked them. When you had like Souness who took over and Hodgson, you sacked them because they were doing crap. But you've got the luxury of being Liverpool. You are a team who have mainly been towards the top end of the league. You got Jurgen Klopp, who was an excellent manager, and he had a sustained period at your club. You're not going to sack managers all the time, are you? Man United never for a long, long period because they had a good manager. Man City never. We never sacked a manager for 5 years when we had Poch and, we were doing all right.
Yeah.
But we haven't. We've usually been, we've had managers and it's just turned to shit. So you sack them. But yeah, so obviously that's what Spurs are known for. And it's just an easy stick to beat with. And like you said, mate, him and Ange talking about changing cultures and stuff like that. They didn't change the culture, did they? The culture's got worse. The culture's got worse since they've been there. And if they were doing a good job, if Scott Munn was doing the things or behind the scenes you were seeing it was getting better, they wouldn't have got rid of him, would they? If there were some sort of if there were more green shoots there, if there were more reasons to think we're going somewhere here. But they got rid.
But that's a Levy classic tactic, because back in the day, it was Comoli who drove getting Ramos in and getting rid of Yol. Yol and Comoli didn't get on. Right, I remember in the old-fashioned days of a press conference, Kamoli turned up, did a press conference explaining why Ramos has been appointed. And, of course, when we got rid of Ramos, 8 points, 2 points, 8 games, Levy sacks Kamoli and Ramos at the same time. So Ange and Munn, but Ange and Munn, according to Levy's way of thinking, they came in together, they go out together, and that's the way it works. And just a quick mention of how it's not Ange, it's Onge. Don't forget, it's not Ange. That's how we pronounce his name.
What are your thoughts on Scott Munn being one of your own, Dave? Yeah.
Okay, well, a couple of things about one of my own. Couple of things. Hang on. One is just very quickly. I'm laughing my arse off that Australia are out the T20 and been giving plenty of people work shit about it. So, Scott Munn, our good friend Cameron, who lives in Melbourne, Sydney's better. He said that Scott Munn was a great communicator. He brought the fans together at the AFL between the AFL board and the fans. I never fucking saw that. I don't even think Moby ever turned up to a fans forum, did he? I never saw him there. He'd communicate. He turned up and did an event for when Tottenham played Newcastle at the carbon offset saving match in Melbourne. And that was it. So his visibility to the fans and the great communicator, absolutely zero. He sacked Jeff Scott. So either Jeff Scott was a fantastic head of medicine or a shit head of medicine, but the injuries keep on piling in. And again, I'm no expert, but I would be looking at that pitch, the retractable pitch. I'd be interested to know the amount of injuries that we got playing on that pitch at White Hart Lane versus being in the stadium, because there's something going on there, but I'm no expert. So Scott Munn, nothing. There's no communication, nothing. So, but he's another ex-Aussie employee who has indeed slagged the cut. Next week, we have the ex-Aussie chef at the training ground who has been let go because Levy refused a vegetarian frittata. But that's next week's show. Tune in then.
Tune in for that.
Tune in for frittata talk. Let's talk. Before we get to Palace, I just want to make a warm welcome to our new Youth Academy coach who has been on social media talking about the fact that he's a gooner. What a way to make an impression in your first day at work. Well done, you. Welcome to the club. So let's move on. We got Palace, and I'm disappointed. I got the big arrow, but now it's a bit smaller font on the old snip. This is the Palace team. Now they've got some
bloke on there who's been sent off, Dave. He won't be playing. They're centre back.
I thought he'd been no, but this is the last game, Gibbo.
Oh,
so he had to be sent off to start, if you know what I mean. And I know I'm being a smart ass. I don't know if his appeal has his appeal been successful? Is he playing? Do we know?
No,
we'll talk about that. Connor, I bet Billy T.
No, I don't know. But
Billy T would know. We've never had Billy T on this show. We can't. He's welcome, but he's been on everything. Let's face it. But Billy T probably knows that whether it's the appeals were played. So Johnson, what's the odds on him scoring, Connor?
Oh, it stinks of it, doesn't it? I saw that Palace put up their tweet, with Tottenham coming up or whatever, and of course included a photo of Johnson. It's funny. All my in-laws are Palace, and I told them when they signed Johnson that it was going to be a terrible signing. To which they sort of, as we all do when we sign a player, get that sort of excitement about signing a player and assume they're going to be great. About 3 games in, they told me I was right, which I take no pleasure in, like Gibbo. But I was right, and he's been piss poor apparently. So, of course he's going to score against us.
So you're go on, hang on a sec. You're the Meghan Markle of Tottenham YouTube because you've married into the Palace. Thank you very much. I'm here all week. Sorry, Gibbo.
We're throwing them out tonight. I'm going to go early. Like this is my prediction is we will be 1-0 up. It'll be tight. You know what I mean? There won't be long left in the game. We'll be 1-0 up, and Brennan Johnson will score the equaliser to make the game just an irrelevant 1-1 draw. Where it was just let's just get through this now. We're 1-0 up. We just need the 3 points. We just need the 3 points. We need the win. They're both as important. And then Brennan Johnson will tap one home, won't he? We all know that's going to happen. And then, yeah, like it's all sort of like, oh, for fuck's sake, we can't win a game. But yeah, that's how I see it going. I'm with Connor.
I've just had a phone call from Louis Armstrong. He's apologising for not playing a trumpet in this morning's show, but hopefully he'll be back on next week.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, he'll be trumpeting as he always does. Johnson. Now, if Johnson scores, will he do a quiet, respectful celebration, or will he go racing up to the Lewis family with his middle finger?
I think he'll celebrate.
Oh, do you? I don't think he
will. I mean, this is another thing, isn't it? There were rumours coming out that when we sold Brennan Johnson, the current crop of players weren't happy with that decision to sell him because he was an important, or he was a big part of the team, of the squad. Everybody liked him, and he just weren't very good. And that's just another thing, isn't it? That's just another piss boiling thing about him. It's like, oh, you sold my mate. It's fucking rubbish.
It's because it's a holiday camp, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, we're in that position where, you're not expected to achieve anything of note at Tottenham. You get paid fairly well. We don't pay enough in wages, which is part of our issue, but you get paid fairly well relative to some of the other smaller Premier League teams. And there's no expectation on you. That sort of stuff doesn't last at those other clubs that have got a proper culture and a proper ethos set at the top. So
last night, can I just put? So we can just finish this on the post game. Friend of mine, when I had a season ticket back in the early 2000s, towards the end, the guy who I went with, I saw him last night. I went into Tesco. I hadn't seen him for a few years, and we were having a chat. And he said to me, "He'll be gone by Thursday night." He doesn't, and I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I think they'll sack him if they don't win Thursday night." Not saying that he wants him to be sacked. He just said, "Well, I think if they don't, I think if they lose, they'll get rid of Tudor."
Do you think it's Tudor a go-go? You're saying
could be. Well, that's what I'm not saying. I'm putting the question to you guys because he was just, and I was like, really, I just can't see where they go. And he went, "No, I think they'll get rid of him if they lose." What do you think?
I was thinking about this. I can see a situation where we get Mason for. I'm not being funny. I can see it. He knows the players. He knows that shit. He's done. I mean, you can kind of revision his time at West Brom because they brought in someone else after him who they've just sacked as well, right?
Yeah.
So you've got Mason. I mean, look, if you look at the pattern of this season, where you've had Pereira, who was sacked by Wolves, is now at Forest. You've had Nuno, who was sacked by Forest, is now at West Ham. You've had Tottenham, who sacked Frank, could end up at Palace because Glasner's just torching the place. What are the odds that we get Sean Dyche in the last few games of the season? I mean, it's all very well being this specialist at coming in and sorting things out. But if you come in and tell everyone that they're shit, I'm not quite sure, even with this pampered lot of players, I'm not sure from a motivational point of view, it really works.
Running them into the ground, basically saying...
Even if it is true.
Even if it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of the great bosses that you've worked with over the years. Have any of them come in and go, well, you're all shit, really? And have you ever thought, yeah, I'd like to get up and go to work the next day because I work for someone who tells me I'm fucking rubbish, right? It doesn't work. I think let's go on. You can say something.
I just want to put. I've said that one to you, and I'll just put this one to Conor. And then as well this morning in our in one of our WhatsApp groups, somebody was talking about David Moyes. So many years ago, David Moyes was front runner to get the Spurs job.
Was he?
If we were to get Moyes now, lots of Tottenham fans would turn their noses up at him.
No.
My response to that is, mate, we will finish 16th, 17th, or 18th this year. And I guarantee you that there will be names come up that could do a perfect, well, even improve us. Whatever we got to do, we've got to improve next season. And we will have people, well, we'll probably all do it, but we will turn our noses up at certain managers that could probably come in and do a good job. Do you agree with that, Connor? Do you think we'll still be turning our noses up at people and still be expecting a certain quality of manager? And that only came into my head because Dave mentioned Sean Dyche. I don't want Sean Dyche to be Tottenham manager long term. If he came in, if they got rid of Jude and they did that. But I'm talking about that quote.
We will do that, but I think all three of us learned from the Frank era that managing a big club is very, very different. And I think, and Moyes found that out a little bit, right? In terms of, he had the hardest job probably following Ferguson at United, right? It was particularly difficult.
So did Frank. Following Onge, Frank had to follow Onge, big quality manager.
Yeah, I mean, you joke, but I actually do think in some ways he followed Ange, and it was the right thing still for Ange to go. But it was a difficult task because there was a split in the dressing. There was quite anyway. The players have, as we spoke about earlier, an issue. So I do think it was that job was difficult. But it is important for us that we get a manager next that is able to cope with that pressure of the Championship, being in the Premier League. Of the fishbowl that is managing Tottenham Hotspur compared to managing Brentford or Bournemouth or whoever.
Sorry, Dave. So when Roberto De Zerbi gets linked, right? We all know he's combustible, whatever. A really good coach, very highly thought of, but an excellent coach. Yeah, very good at what he does. When he gets highly linked, considering how shit we are now and where we will probably finish in the league, we'll still have people going, absolutely not. I don't want him anywhere near Tottenham Hotspur. I do not want him anywhere near Tottenham, won't we?
Yeah. But, I like what Connor did then because he put collective responsibility on the three of us and joint culpability. We were all saying we wanted Frank.
Yeah. He's right.
Whereas you are happy to do the dance of I told you so in relation to Xavi Seaman to us two. Just saying.
Sorry, I've got no class. I've got no class.
Well, So just to finish off, let's just look at the team that we could pick. King Hoddle, who's in the safe space, his comments gets read out, just saying again. This is the team he's got. He's got Vic. I think Spencer's injured. Oh, Sousa. My apologies. There's a thing there. So Spencer or Sousa. I'd rather see Sousa. Van der Ven, Danzo, Porro. That's easy. Polina. Great. He's got Sarr in there. And Siemens. No Gallagher.
He's got Gray or Sarr.
Yeah, I know. And then he's got no Gallagher. He's got Tell, Solanke, Richie or Moani. So he's got Richie playing left, I think. I think he's got a 4 at the back. So he's got no Dragusin, no Basuma, and no Gallagher. Then we got Connor's dad, which is pretty... Is it not the same? Oh, he's got Gallagher in there. So we got Spence, Vicario, Spence, Danzo, Van der Ven, Sousa, Paulinho, Gallagher, Xavi, Porro.
Play lock-up.
All right, right wing.
Porro, right wing? Wow.
Mate, if we're just going to get him to boom crosses in, you may as well have him from doing it from the right wing position as right back.
Not a bad shout. Right, 2 more things before we go. Predictions then?
Yeah.
What's the prediction? What's your prediction? 1-1. Blimey.
I'm being positive.
I know, but that's why I've said blimey. Go on, Connor.
You can't predict a Tottenham win at the moment, can you?
You can if you want, Connor. It's your choice. But we want you to go with your head, not your heart.
So just to confess, and I did confess this last week, I put $20 on Fulham to win 2-1 and Sessegnon scoring on the weekend. So there you go. I think we're going to win 1-0, because the last time we won a game was against them. In one of the games this season, I actually woke up to watch it and fell asleep again watching the game. Right?
And 1-0 is a good shout, Dave, because I think we've got to break this cycle of conceding 2 goals a game for the last God knows how long, haven't we?
Exactly right. And let's finish off with an old-time favourite. Reasons to be cheerful. Connor, I believe it's your birthday tomorrow. Is that correct?
It is my birthday tomorrow, Dave, yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Happy
So,
birthday.
at least
Happy
Tottenham are not
birthday.
playing on my birthday.
Yeah.
That
You've got
is
24 hours to celebrate and enjoy it, and then it's Tottenham Hotspur Day the day after, Connor. So it'll all come crushing down.
good. And congratulations to
Yeah.
Connor's dad for Connor's birthday. It's achievement. And dare we ask how old you're turning, Connor?
33.
33.
Oh,
So hang on, you were born. Hang on, let me do the maths here.
Mm.
83? No, 93.
93. Do you need the accountant to help you, Dave? 93.
March 1993. We had Anderton, Sheringham, Barnby up front. We were scoring goals for fun. We were going to a semi-final.
take me back.
Take me back.
Sheringham,
So
Barnby, Anderton.
Ruddock, Razor Ruddock.
That season, Dave, just talking about that one season when Ruddock was back, he was fantastic.
I know it was. And then there was another season where we were on the verge of something.
Yeah.
When Sugar sacks Venables for reasons that were correct, right? But there you go. I'm just finishing off on the 90s. Gibbo, how are you going with the Spurs in the 90s book?
Yeah, I'm still in the same place as I was 6 months ago, Dave, but I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll get through it at some point.
If we're ever gonna get levels of viewers like Connor gets, if we invite authors of books who have written books onto our show,
to read their books.
We kind of need to read their books. I'm just saying. All right. Okay.
Oh, you read it, Dave?
I've read the 90s. Well, I'm halfway through the 80s.
I'm reading David Pleat's book at the minute. So
right. Is it about car parks in Luton?
No, I've not got to that part yet.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that.
On that note,
Connor, thank you for coming on, mate. Great to have you back on.
Mate. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
We'll endeavour to get Connor on as much as we can, but obviously, like we said, it's early, and when you've got young kids, it's hard to get away, isn't it? Me and Dave have got the luxury of being older and having older kids, ones that make like trombone noises in the background. And
correct.
I've got one who sits in the other room shouting and bawling on his PS5 or whatever it is. But cheers for coming on, mate. I hope you enjoyed it.
Massively good to be back. Feels like I'm home again. So it was good to be back on, and
things have really changed since things have really changed, haven't they?
I would say to the people in the comments, go over and subscribe to your channel. I'd imagine most of them have come to watch you from there.
I think the point is, if you could get some people on his channel to come over and subscribe to us, we don't have to watch it. Just subscribe would be great.
2 or 3, we'd be absolutely over the moon, wouldn't we, Dave? So we're aiming to beat. What are we aiming to beat? We got 500 odd views last week, didn't we, Dave?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If we could get 600 this week with Connor, that would be absolutely brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, obviously 15 of those views is me checking the numbers like twice a day, but they all count, don't they?
Anyway, thanks for tuning in on a Tuesday, guys. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.